in a world just beyond your reach. One story is about to unfold. Welcome to Pocket Realm Stories, where every second sparks a new adventure. Today's tale will take you somewhere unexpected. Let's dive in.
The twin moons of Valari Prime shimmered above the capital spires like gods watching from afar. Deep in the palace, Queen Aethera moved like a shadow, her silver ceremonial dress replaced by combat leathers. Her breathing was controlled, precise. Every step she took felt like betrayal. The crown, a living symbiote grown to her genetic code, had been left behind. With it, her psychic tether to the Valari High Mind had severed. The pain still echoed in her skull like a severed limb trying to move. Her people believed her dead. Her enemies would make sure of it if they knew otherwise. Aethera entered the hangar bay hidden beneath the palace gardens. The royal vessel she had retrofitted was small, fast, and barely traceable through standard scans. A star skipper designed for scouting, not royalty. "Begin launch sequence," she whispered. A red orb lit up. "Destination required." "Athean expanse. Random vector." Her voice cracked. "Get me off this world." As the star skipper lifted silently, the queen of a million systems vanished into the void. The crash wasn't elegant. The ship groaned and split against black rock and ash dunes of a dead world, one not listed in any Imperial star charts. It was here, of all places, that ex-commander Cade Riven lived out the end of his life. The wind howled like ghosts. Cade, once the most decorated human warrior in the Terran Resistance, scanned the crash site with quiet precision. He found her half buried in the wreck, bloodied but alive. "You're not from around here," he muttered. The woman looked up, eyes violet and burning with a royal fire. "Help me," she said, then blacked out. The inside of Cade Riven's shelter was stark. Rough stone walls reinforced with salvaged alloy plating, generators humming low, and weapons hung like art. It was the kind of place built by a man who expected to be hunted even in isolation. Queen Aethera awoke on a cot, half conscious, her body wrapped in a thermal blanket that still smelled faintly of gunpowder and iron. "You're awake," Cade said, seated across the room, cleaning the barrel of a rail rifle. Aethera tried to rise. Pain lanced through her side, but she refused to show weakness. "Who are you?" Cade didn't look up. "I should be asking you the same. That's a stealth-class star skipper you crashed. Imperial tech, but not exactly military standard. You royalty?" Silence stretched. Aethera's expression hardened. "I was. That's over now." "Yeah, funny how titles vanish once the ship goes down." She narrowed her eyes. "You're Terran, aren't you?" "Used to be. Name's Cade Riven, commander of the Ninth Vanguard during the Valeri-Terran Wars." Her breath caught. That name. Her generals had whispered it in strategy chambers. The ghost of Karthus. The butcher of Skyhold. A man who killed with brutal precision and vanished into legend after the armistice. "I know your name," she said. "You're a war criminal." Cade looked at her finally, dark eyes shadowed and unreadable. "Depends who writes the history books." The next days passed in a tense rhythm. Aethera healed slowly, but her presence remained regal. She explored Cade's compound cautiously, asking little, observing much. Cade didn't pry, but he watched her, the way her hands hovered near weapons, the way she stared too long at the stars. It was inevitable, the firelit conversation. "What made you run?" he asked, staring into the flame between them. Aethera hesitated. "My council declared me dead. They installed a high proxy in my place. My mind link to the Valari mind was severed. That almost killed me." "You severed it?" Cade asked. "Voluntarily." "I had to. It was no longer a throne. It was a cage." Cade nodded slowly like he understood too well. "Funny, you escape your people. I escape mine. We both end up on this cursed rock. She looked at him, her tone softening. How long have you been alone? Too long, he admitted. But the silence, it forgives things people don't. Their eyes met, not as soldier and queen, but as fugitives, exiles. And for the first time, the space between them felt less empty. The silence didn't last. 3 days after the crash, Cade's early warning array blared red across his console. He shot up from sleep, the faint sound of approaching engines already in his ears. Unidentified vessel. Low orbit, he muttered, watching the scanner's red blip. They're not broadcasting. Aethera stood in the doorway, half-dressed in scavenged gear, her eyes sharp. Villari? Could be scavengers. Either way, they're not here by accident. She crossed to the console and examined the readings. The signature was subtle. A pulse folded into subspace. Her blood went cold. That's a hunter's mark. They're tracking me. Thought you said your ship was clean, Cade growled. It was. I burned the comm logs and wiped the mine beacon. She stared out the small viewport. But they have other ways, bloodways, genetic recall codes. They'll follow me until I'm dead or returned. Cade picked up his rail rifle and tossed her a pulse pistol from the wall. Then we don't let them land. The skirmish began at dawn. 3 black ships descended from orbit, sleek and quiet, landing on the edge of the canyon. Villari hunters, elite operatives bred for pursuit, loyalty, and death. Cade and Aethera worked in brutal silence. He moved like a machine, laying perimeter charges. She took a sniper nest above the ridge with practiced grace, her long fingers wrapping around the scope like she'd held it 1,000 times. The first explosion lit the sky in amber fire. Hunters poured into the canyon, their armor flowing with liquid metal, their weapons singing with psionic resonance. Cade met them head-on with a war cry and a barrage of rail slugs. Aethera fought with precision and elegance, her shots never missing. But the bond pull of the Villari mind pressed on her skull again. The temptation to surrender, to rejoin. I can feel them, she said through gritted teeth. They're calling me back. Cade ducked behind a boulder, reloading. Then shut them out. You're not theirs anymore. She looked at him. A choice crystallized between them. Survival or surrender. Her voice was steel. Number, I'm not. She rose and emptied the last of her clip into the final hunter. When silence returned, it was thick with smoke and blood. Night fell thick over the scorched canyon. The hunters were dead, but their ship remained, a black fang embedded in the rock. Cade moved through the wreckage, collecting supplies, checking for beacons. Aethera sat by the fire, her eyes locked on a sliver of starlight overhead. I used to have 100 people speak my name every hour, she said softly. Now I almost don't remember what it sounds like. Cade crouched beside her. What do they call you? Aethera, daughter of the line of Zel, heir to the Villari mind. He nodded. Sounds heavy. She looked at him. And you? Cade Riven, the ghost. What did you carry? He stared into the flames. Orders I didn't believe in. Wars I fought because others said I should, and one day, I stopped listening. They sat in silence, something unsaid thick in the air between them. Finally, Aethera whispered, You don't scare me, Cade. He looked at her. Maybe you should. She smiled, tired, sad, genuine. I think we're both far past fear. That night, she kissed him. Not like a queen claiming territory, but like a woman who had run so far and so hard she forgot what it meant to stop. It happened beneath the stars, amidst the still smoking earth with a scent of ozone and ash in the air. Cade froze at first, surprise or doubt, but then he pulled her close. Their lips met like colliding stars, something fierce and lonely melting into something fragile and real. When they parted, breathless, neither spoke. In the morning, Aethera stood over the black ship and stared at its comms panel. This thing sent a ping the moment it hit orbit. More will come. Cade joined her. Then we leave. This planet's done hiding us. She looked at him, surprised. You're coming with me? You think I'll let you take on the Empire alone? He asked. You need someone who knows how to burn things down. A slow, defiant smile spread across her face. Then let's start a war. The stolen ship howled through slipspace. Aethera sat in the co-pilot seat, her hand hovering over the navigation matrix. There's an outpost in the Corellian Cradle, a fringe colony, mostly exiled Valari dissidents. If anyone would shelter us, it's them. Cade leaned back, watching the starfields distort. You're planning more than hiding, aren't you? She didn't look at him. I don't want my throne back. I want to burn the system that made it. You'll need allies. I have one, she said, glancing sideways at him. Cade smiled. One angry human with a rifle won't be enough. Not just a rifle, a legacy. She paused. They still whisper your name in Valari command. Some think you're a ghost, a myth. He looked out the viewport. Then let's give them a reason to believe in ghosts again. The ship dropped out of slipspace above a fractured moon ring. Below, the rebel colony flickered like a dying flame. A fragile hope barely alive. And hope, Aethera thought, was the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. The final battle came quickly. Once the rebel colony learned who she was, half wanted to execute her. The other half wanted to kneel. But she stood before them, stripped of crown and title, and said, I am not your queen. I am your weapon. Use me. They followed her. Cade trained their fighters. Aethera linked minds with the old exiles, sharing memories of betrayal and pain. The rebellion spread like wildfire through old data channels and war-laced dreams. When the Valari High Mind sent its elite fleet, the rebels were waiting. The battle tore through the cradle like thunder. Aethera and Cade fought side by side aboard the command ship. Blood and sparks and static filled the air. A psionic bomb cracked the mind-link chambers, and the collective control shattered. A generation of Valari woke up from centuries of obedience. In the final moment, Aethera stood before the High Proxy, a clone bred to lead, unfeeling and merciless, and tore the crown from its living skull. The war ended not with a treaty, but a transmission. We are not yours. We never were. Months passed. Cade and Aethera never returned to any throne. They lived aboard a retrofitted scout ship, flying system to system, helping colonies break free, not as rulers, but as symbols. Aethera watched Cade from the cockpit one night as he repaired a damaged nav node. You know, she said softly, they call us the Ghost Queen and the Outcast Blade. He chuckled. Sounds like the title of a bad romance novel. She smiled, leaning down to kiss him. Maybe, but it's our story. Above them, the stars stretched wide, not as a cage, but as a promise.
Another realm explored, but there are countless more to discover. If you enjoyed this story, like, comment your favorite moment, and subscribe for more bite-sized adventures. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss the next trip through the Pocket Realm. Until next time, keep your imagination close and your curiosity closer.